We are class of 2026.
All right, my name is Angel Garcia Solano. I'm a senior, and I'm number 5, and I'm a middle.
My name's Ethan Lyman. I'm a senior, number 7, right side.
And middle.
My name is Efren Adlor. I'm a senior. My number is number 9, and I'm a setter.
My name is Landon. I'm also a senior. I'm a right side, and my number is 15.
I'm Emiliano Munoz. I'm a senior, and my number is 16, and I'm a middle blocker.
All right, guys. Mrs. Coach here. Our first topic is personality and fun. All right, seniors. Who is the funniest teammate?
Ooh, I'm gonna go with Emmanuel. He looking like be goofy as hell.
I'll say Wallo. He's always loud, and he always has the most energy.
For me, it's between Omar or Wallo. They're very energetic and very funny.
I agree with all of them. I also think, I don't know. I think they're all good choices. I also agree with all of them. I think Wallo and Emmanuel. I think all around the sophomores like Omar are also really funny too.
Yeah, I agree with them. Emmanuel, Wallo, Omar, and I feel like someone else. Sometimes Julian.
All right. Next question for personality. Who's likely to be late?
Ooh, Loki. Probably Ethan, bro. Why you Loki late?
Yeah, either me or Wallo, to be honest.
For me, I'll probably say 3 people. It would be Ethan, Wallo, and me, because I be coming late.
Yeah, I second that. I think Efren also comes really late because he lives like really far. I remember I picked him up one time and it took like 30 minutes to come back and forth. It was just really annoying, dude. All right.
Definitely Efren and Wallo. Yeah, that's all I gotta say.
Mr. Coach here. What are your plans after graduation?
Okay, my plans are like being a little scholar and like to build up my future in college and mechanical engineering and IIT.
Go to college, Roosevelt, study criminal justice, and become a cop.
I'm going to go to UIC, study business, and I'm going to keep playing volleyball at the club at UIC.
I'm gonna go to Colgate, and I'm gonna try to study computer science. Try to do something for like cybersecurity, and if not, well, I'll just see like where the wind takes me.
I am going to WashU. I'm going to major in biology, and I might minor in business, but it's really up in the air right now.
What's your favorite game or moment from the season?
My favorite game has to be the Hubbard game. I think we really locked in for that one after we got down a few points, but we really kicked it into gear and pushed back.
I also think the Battle 47. Because it was like one of like the first tournaments, and I think we started pretty strong, and like we came up in the end, and we really like proved ourselves.
For me, it's between 2 games. I would probably say the game against DePaul. It was really fun, and just like showed the team how competitive volleyball is. And also the Hubbard game, I had really fun, and I enjoyed winning.
I say the back of the yards game. It was a back and forth, close game, a lot of memories.
I'm gonna say my favorite game was the Mount Carmel game and the Soloria tournament because Loki, like we know we can do that, and we Loki like give him a decent time, and that's all we can give.
Okay, what moment felt like this is what it's all about?
One moment, I'm saying the Hubbard like the Hubbard game we played, like all of us gave our full effort. We went like rah, and then we got the win, and like this is what it's about, bro. It's what volleyball is. You got a game.
I say the back of the yards game, the final point, everybody just ran on the court. It was just fun.
I would say the Battle 47 tournament, especially the game with Battle of the Yards. It just showed like how much we could push ourselves and the determination, and that if we really push ourselves, we can win.
I think I think I agree with Efren. The Battle 47 was also really impactful. I think generally all our tournaments are really impactful in general. Even if we lose, I feel like we all grow in some way.
I gotta also say the Hubbard game again. I feel like sometimes we get a little scared and in our heads, but when we push through it and push back harder, we really show that we want to win. I feel like we do work together as a team very fluidly.
What are any funny or unforgettable moments with this group?
Any funny I mean, there's plenty.
Like first one that comes to your mind.
Our drive back at 8:30 at night from Spear, which was a 45-minute drive, having a complete karaoke night on the bus. I'd say that is a moment that I will not forget. The amount of characters in that moment was fun to see.
I think mine's like not a particular moment, but many little moments. Like there's times in practice where I just look around to see whose personality I can see. Whether it's like Ephraim doing a little salsa dance in between, or they just do like the weirdest things in practice. Like if you just took a moment to like freeze the whole gym, they would all be doing something really silly. So I love that. They all have their own little personalities and they're big goofballs. So I'll always miss that about that.
What would you tell them one last time as their coach?
Ooh, that's tough.
Wash your knee pads. No, I think what I would tell them is to just continue to be true to yourself. Like you have gotten here so far, as you're about to graduate high school and you're about to go into a new chapter of life. Like just continue to be who you are, right? You don't need to go through and impress anybody. You don't need to change your personality or how you view things, right? Like just continue to be you. Yeah, just be you. We love you for who you are.
I think individually, maybe things I kind of already kind of say. I know Ephraim sometimes doubts himself and he'll say like, you know, he's afraid he's gonna mess something up jokingly. And I'll say like W setter or that's my setter. And I would probably say that again. Or like Emmy says like, let's go all the time. So I probably tell him that, like, let's go, because he's always ready to go. Landon, I'm not even gonna say, I was like, close your mouth. But it's like a funny inside joke that we have as a team. And it's been a way that I'm able to like, and I think little jokes Landon and I have had together. So I'd probably like choose something for all of them. And then Angel, let me see. He's always talking about my shoes. So I'd probably say like something about his shoes, or like just be loud, be yourself. And then Ethan doesn't really talk that much. Maybe it'd be like, just lock in. Because that's typically what he always says, just lock in. Trust yourself. Yeah. Hi guys, it's Miss Coach here, also known as Miss Martinez. I wanted to take some time to talk about some of our seniors. The first senior I'm going to talk about is Ethan Lyman. Ethan joined the team last year. He started on JV and then moved to varsity pretty fast last year. Though he stepped away like when he got injured, so he didn't finish the season with us, but he came back this year to really give it his all. When he tried out, he made the varsity team this year without starting with JV, and I'm really proud of him for that because I know he played a little bit of volleyball, but he worked really hard to get better at it and really prove that he was ready for varsity. So he started this season really, really strong. And I know a lot of people, when they think of Ethan, they might say that he's always late to school, or that he's stubborn, or maybe that he's quiet. But I've really gotten to know Ethan a lot this season. And what I have learned is that though he's stubborn and he's probably going to be late to school, what has impressed me the most is that I've learned that he's very dedicated. And if there's something that means a lot to him, like winning a game or just being able to say that they won. He's going to do what he can to show up for his team. And I really saw that this year. And he works during the season as well. I owe him a lot for the amount of times he's called off on the same day to make it to games. And so I really know that he truly cares about being on the team and playing. I've also learned that he can be really patient. I know he's gotten frustrated sometimes, but I know this season he's really matured. And he's not perfect, but there's been times where he can get frustrated. But this season, I feel like he's really tried to calm down. And he might get mad, but then he'll learn how to, bring it back and learn how to work with his teammates. And yeah, I think I'm really glad that you chose to be on the volleyball team again this year. I have honestly learned more about you in this one season than I have all the 4 years I've known you. And so I'm just really glad that you've been an example for the team in terms of your mentality. I think the teammates are going to remember you as unafraid and a fighter, and that's something that a lot of Mansueto athletes don't have, is being fearless. So even though it was a one season, which seems like a fast season, you'll definitely be remembered. And I really appreciate, and I'm so honored that you chose to spend your final moments as a senior with our volleyball team. The next senior that I'm going to talk about is Efren Aguilar. Efren, he's our senior who is our captain this year, and I've always imagined him to be captain, but Efren has made a big accomplishment by his goal before the season was to be a captain. And I said, let's do it. Let's figure out, how you can be captain. Told him some things to work on, since that was his goal, is to be more vocal, for people to see him as a leader. And he really took my advice. And at the beginning of the season, I had the team vote for their captain, even though in the back of my mind, I knew I wanted Efren and Julian. I always like the team to vote for their captain as well. And it was like a unanimous decision. They both Julian and Efren were clear winners. And I think that's a huge jump for Efren, because thinking back about Efren, I still remember him as a tiny freshman with all his curly hair over his eyes. I don't think I really knew what your voice sounded like, Efren, until like last year. That's how quiet you were. And you were super quiet. But you're the kind of kid, Efren, that is a prime example of a kid that's going to just put all the hard work in. He started off as JV his freshman year, and then sophomore year he started for varsity as one of our setters, and that just doesn't come by accident. Efren, just to give you an example, I'll always remember Efren in our practices when he was on JV, or even on varsity when he wasn't playing. He was somewhere in the background playing, passing, getting reps with Gabe. And Gabe was always there passing with him for a long time. I think like Efren would walk out of practice sweating, like super sweaty, because he just would not stop peppering, would not stop playing, because that's how much better he wanted to be. And every time we go to games now, I actually have I'm not even I'm not trying to blow up his head or anything like that, but it's a true thing that happens. After games, refs or coaches will ask me, how do I get my setters to be so good or to have really good hands? And I honestly can't take any of that credit, because I am not a good setter. And I want to give all the credit to you, Efren, because that's all of your hard work. And I also want to name Efren's super smart as well. He's managed IB classes. He doesn't live the closest. And he's always there at practice. I never have to question his dedication. So he's a prime example of growth, jumping so quickly from JV to varsity, and also just showing like if you put hard work in, you can get what you want or close to what you want. And then also just balancing student athlete. Efren's one of the top performers in his class, and I want all of our players, especially they know if they're coached by me, I want them to have good grades and good behavior and be good players on and off the court. And I think you're a perfect example for that, Efren. And let's see. Yeah, I'm just super proud of you, Efren, and I'm gonna miss you. You'll always be my W setter. And I'm just proud of all of your growth, and thank you for the fun times, and please come back to coach with me because I will definitely need some pointers and advice for my future setters, and you would be perfect for that. So thanks for everything, Efren. Our next senior that I want to talk about isn't a player, but a manager. We have quite a few managers this season. We have 3 senior managers. The one I'm going to talk about right now is Jimena, also known as Mena, is one of our managers this year. And honestly, she's kind of like everyone's older sister. And she is technically the oldest, and you can definitely tell. This year, though she's been playing varsity soccer, she's not always around, but when she's able to, she will definitely try her best to make every single game, or she's at the score table for as many games as she can. And that just shows like how dedicated she is regardless of what's going on. And it's so unique to see that from a manager. Like she's not playing on the court, but I know she really enjoys being around the team and supporting us. And you never see that a lot, or it's not common. So I really do appreciate all your presence and help, Mena. I truly do think you're one of the nicest MHS students. Definitely comes up to mind as someone who's like gonna jump to help anybody. And she's really helped create such a like strong culture with volleyball. I think everyone knows that if you think of Mena, I know they'll say probably cheerleading, or they'll say soccer, or they'll say lots of enrichments and clubs. And I know that she's really gonna say volleyball for one of them as something that she really cares about. And I have always felt that way from you, Mena. And I'll also never forget the letter you wrote for me on my birthday. I still have it. So I'm gonna miss you, Mena, and I just appreciate your support. And you're a ride or die for our volleyball team. And I'm gonna miss you, and hopefully we get another manager just as good as you. The last senior I'm gonna talk about is Landon. I think the first thing that comes to mind is where Landon started. He started in my enrichment class. It was technically a weightlifting class, but when we had extra time at the end or in between, we would work on volleyball basics. And that is where I learned how much that Landon wanted to learn volleyball. He had no experience. I don't know what even drove him to start learning volleyball or wanting to start learning volleyball, but I just know he really liked it. And he loved learning. So he started in my enrichment class, and then he tried out. And I decided to take him on to the team. And he's just grown so fast, very similar to like Efren and Emmy. He was on JV for most of the years, and so he really worked up to this year now being on varsity, and has played on the varsity team. And so that's a huge jump for Landon, but he has dedicated so much time to volleyball. And he's an example of someone who started from the bottom. Landon is quiet, but he is very observant. I know that he has a lot cooking up there in his mind. He's super smart. And we just started using more of a 5-1, which is a formation this year. And I knew all of the seniors were gonna do just fine because they're super, super smart. And they're on the top of their class. I know Landon also has done IB classes, and recently I think is committed to Colgate. And I'm super proud of him for that. He's another example of a student or player that can balance. I think he works too on some weekends or some days during the week, and he can balance work, he can balance IB classes, getting to practice on time, behavior. I don't think he's gotten a weekly reflection this year, but I really appreciate Landon and his overall commitment. And I really enjoyed getting to know you this year, Landon. You're actually pretty funny. And if you observe him a little bit, he cracks some jokes when nobody's around. And I just love his overall commitment. And believe it or not, you've played a really crucial role on the team, especially in the team culture. You set an example for the rest of them. And I hope that they look up to you and see how really important school is and balancing all the things. And I'm going to miss you, Landon. Thanks for senior stuff.
Hey everyone, it's Mr. Coach here, or Mr. Martinez, assistant varsity volleyball coach here and head JV coach. And I'm here to talk about 4 seniors in particular today on their senior night. First senior I'm going to talk about is Angel Garcia. Angel Garcia has been in our program for all 4 years. And what I really appreciate about Angel is the fact that, like, 2 big things: wherever we needed him, Angel was stepped up. His freshman year, Angel only played back row as a DS. His second year, he was the outside. Then last year, we asked him to be a setter and step up in big games and be our starting setter because Ephraim was out. Or now this year, he went right side and switched halfway through until middle. And like, he's always down for whatever. He's here for a good time. He wants to grow. He wants to learn. And I think that's another big reason that we also just appreciate his energy that he brought every single day. It didn't matter what he had going on, if he had a tough day at school, if he had other things going on outside of school. Like, Angel was just who he was, authentic Angel every single day. He would bring in some corny jokes that we kind of question, but he was him, and that's what I appreciate about him. He was never sorry for being who he was, and showing how much he cared. And I'm really gonna miss Angel, just his goofiness, but then also just like his love and passion for his friends and for volleyball. Next senior that I'm talking about is Mr. Emmy himself. What I've appreciated from Emmy in the 4 years that he's been in our program is just the sense of calm that Emmy brings. Emmy, it could be the end of the world, and Emmy can just bring some calm in times where we really needed it as a team, or if I needed it after a long day of teaching and then coaching. Like, I just knew that I could rely on Emmy to bring that, not only that calm, but just that support for his teammates. He always had just the perfect thing to say to his teammates, to us, and I always just appreciated how much he was willing to be there for everyone. Whether it was a freshman, his senior year, like the freshmen look up to him because they just know that he's someone that they can rely on. And then also on the court, we would not have won our championship junior year, or his junior year, which was last season, if it wasn't for him coming in and serving the way that he did. Like, whenever we needed Emmy to show up on the court, off the court, he did it. And the sense of just, I'm here for a good time and I'm gonna support my friends no matter what, and I'm gonna help you out, was something that as a coach you don't see very often, and I really appreciate. And I am so excited to see how he uses these skills for his next step. Getting a full ride to WashU is not something a lot of people are able to say they're able to accomplish, and I'm so excited for Emmy and his future. The next senior that I'm talking about is actually one of our managers, Miss Cassandra. Cassandra is a type of person you want to be your friend. She is always going to make sure that you are taken care of before herself. And I just always knew that, like, whenever I had a million things going on, I could rely on Cassandra. Hey, Cassandra, I really need help with something right now. And she would drop everything that she was doing and help us out. Whether it was me with getting equipment before a game, or something was missing in practice and I needed to find it, she would drop what she was doing and come help us. And that's something that like she didn't just do for us, but she does for every single person on this team. And just like every single one of her friends I know can say the exact same thing. She is willing to make sure that you are cared for, no matter what it could be. And she was honestly here later than the boys would be. Practice would end, and Cassandra was one of the last people to leave the gym. And she would say, hey, Mr. Coach, do I need to put this away for you? I can take that. You don't have to worry about it. And that just speaks volume to her character. I will forever be appreciative and in her debt for the amount of help and support that she's given Mrs. Coach and I over the last 3 years as being our manager, and during the girls' season being our manager and just enjoying that role. And so, Cassandra, I'm so excited for what comes in your future. The last senior that I have the pleasure of talking about today is Brenda, or Brendation. Brenda has been a manager for us for 3 years. And I know she's been busy her senior year and she hasn't been able to be here as often as she would like. But whenever she has been here this year, her presence is felt. She brings so much joy into the room. And she is also someone who is going to make sure that the people around her are always taken care of. I also had the privilege of coaching Brenda for 3 years during the girls' season. So she wasn't a manager during the girls' season because she was actually playing. And seeing her growth, not only as a player, and being someone who, you know, maybe didn't see a lot of playing time to start, but by her senior year, like, she was a starter for just about every single game for us. And she stepped up when we needed it, when maybe someone wasn't stepping up. Brenda was the one that we knew, like, by the end of the year, like, we could rely on. But also her growth as a person. She was extremely shy. She wouldn't talk. And now, like, when we're in the gym, hearing her laugh and hearing her talk, it's been really cool to see the perspective of being her coach, but then also her being our manager for us, and all the different things that she's willing to do. She also stepped in. She stopped being a manager for a little bit because soccer needed help with the goalie a couple of years back. And like, it just shows that like she's willing to do whatever. Her, as well as all of our managers, are in IB classes and they're taking these extremely difficult classes and they have these tests. But Brenda always just brings joy no matter what's going on. She has a smile on her face and she says, what else do you need me to do, mister? And I will forever, forever, forever be so appreciative of Brenda. Thank you, Brenda. And this is the class of 2026.
Scuba, scuba.
All right,
Definitely
guys.
gonna miss the. Sorry, I had the question in my head already.
I guess we can put that in the bloopers. You gotta know the question first, Emmy.
Sorry.
Okay, who was the most serious and who balanced it out?
I'd say for me, I feel out of the seniors. Am I looking at her or am I looking at the camera?